And good morning to everyone. We're here. We're just going to do a very quick recap of the markets. It's 8:20 in the morning. The sun is out. It's a nice weather here in Rome, Italy. We're going to go through the main characteristics of the market for this week. What happened last week and what maybe might happen this week. So I start off as usual with the Smp Sectors. So going to get on the chart everything we need, take off the commodities, and this is the S&P 500. So nothing really changed from last week in terms of the sectors in S&P 500, with financials still at the edge of things. They are on top, then followed by energy, just sort of retracing down a little bit since June, probably since the start of opening the gates, and the pandemic is almost over with the vaccines, although nothing is very certain yet. But we've got that sorted out. Materials, communications sector, industrials are averaging together with a similar pace, and so nothing really to be said here. Nothing too specific comes into place. So let's just have a look at the major indices generally, so we'll see what's happening. Could be good to have the VIX together with it, so we can see that first of all Russell 200 is beating the other two indices for obvious reasons, because with the easing of the pandemic, obviously companies started to build up, and the company with less share have started to get more ground, and with more possibilities, more ability to grow, and stimulation from the economy. Nasdaq and S&P is averaging okay, nothing too fancy. The S&P has touched newer highs as usual, so nothing really much to say on that economy. The VIX index is gone down for a while now, since the pandemic started. So if we look at the 3 years chart, we can see the peaks in March 2020, then just sort of melting back down to not yet average. It's still quite volatile, but we're gonna go back to lower levels pretty soon. So that's good. And remember that this is the change in volatility. It's not the actual volatility VIX. If we wanted to get that, we could go here and get the S&P 500 volatility index, and here it is, and you can see it's still around this area, which means that we still have some time to go before we can think that this rally here is over. This higher than normal volatility is going to be over. So that's great. Let's go back to the main markets and we look at the commodities. Natural gas is first, as it has been for well, not too long ago actually. So now it's taking the lead, with crude oil following, and Brent crude. So Brent crude and crude oil have something like a similar growth chart. The most important thing to say here is that the generally speaking, we can think of the oil generally as something that has been used. Thinking that it could be actually a nice thing to do actually, but I'm thinking that with the end of the summer, oil, as it already started doing, it's probably going to start going up a little bit. So in fact, if we look at the seasonals data, I've got some interesting data here on oil, hopefully, and on general commodities actually, which it tells us a little bit about not the seasonals but the general positions that large banks might be with respect to oil. There's only heating oil though, and there is WTI crude oil. So let's have a look at that in a moment. we can see that generally the speculators have long positions on oil. So this tells us a lot. It tells us that generally the largest positions are held by these guys. 95% of them are going long on this asset. So it's a very cool measure to understand. That's pretty much what's been happening. Now we could potentially go and check the seasonals for oil. I think we can do it with season algo. Let's try real quick. I think I had an account with them, and I don't know if we do have only a few here, but let's try Brent crude oil, say November. Let's build the chart. Oh yes, so surely Brent crude oil is actually not allowed in this case, but could probably just search for it if there is a chance to do it. Okay, there we go. So this is the seasonal 30 years average, and you can see that on June it sort of spiked all the way up again around this area. So it could be something that we could be interested in doing as people finish the summer, probably start to pay for more oil to go to work and stuff. So okay, good. Let's move on, and we are going to go for the well, first of all, it's just looking at the commodities themselves. So we know that, for example, gold here, if we just look at gold, you can see that gold is sort of ranging down for the past year, and it touched higher highs during the pandemic, as we know, and now it's sort of ranging down. So it could be potential short position for gold. If we look at the general average, we could probably be thinking of going towards this area, maybe retracing back around this area, and then pushing back up, because that's usually what gold does. It's preventing inflation, so usually those are the gains that we have. Okay, so that's it with that respect. Let's have a look at the Forex market, and it could be an idea actually to have a look at what the US dollar is doing with respect to the economy. I've got currently a trade here which is unfortunately just down £7, but let's have a look at the economy itself. So for the USD, what you can do instead of just looking at the Forex chart is you can go up and search for different type of data. For example, a very cool thing you can do is you can look up dwellings. So that is the number of new spaces bought by investors for residential buildings, and you can see that obviously, let me just find the chart first and I'll explain that. US let's see. So this is also a very good one. New privately owned housing units started. So this is the number of units started privately by people. So you can see the trends, right? Up to 2008, it touched higher highs. Actually, here it was the most, but in the latest years, it's been going up. So this is a clear. It's a clear. You can see already April 2020. It touched the lower low, and then in July 2020 already people started buying more houses. So this is a clear indication that the economy is thinking that it's going to go back up. So it's a really good indication of inflation and how economy is going to go in the future. People don't buy houses if they think that the economy is not good. People buy houses when they think that the economy is going to get better. So this is a useful thing you can do with many other things that some people can do. And we're going to actually look at CLT data today for trading and just get our ideas on currencies. So let's just jump into the currencies. So of USD JPY, you can see the daily chart is sort of ranging around this area. It's just clear trend is going up, as you can see here. So we would expect to touch a low, a higher low, and then probably break out because it's sort of squeezing in. And what's happening here is there are a few lines that we can control, and most likely what I'm thinking is that the asset is probably going to go, as I said, go down, touch another, either retrace back to this level or a bit higher or lower if you want to push back down, and then we'll probably see a reversal pattern. This is not clear yet when this is going to happen, but we know we need to adjust our lines so that we know what's going to happen. So far it's sort of ranging here. We'll see if it's going to push from this area, and at that moment we might be thinking of going long the asset, but we'll see that happening soon. USD Cad, we can see the trend here sort of going up in the last few days. Touched a higher high here, and it's sort of pushing back down. There's no clear indication on an entry level. Probably thinking about entering, if necessary, around here. That is if we want to short the asset. If we want to long the asset, well, not now because it's pushing down here, and it's probably going to want to touch around this levels before we can think of getting in. And actually, there is already another line here, which is right there. I'm just going to place my alert, and if it does touch that line, then we can see what's going to happen in a few hours after that, and see if we can just push back up and go long on the asset. Generally speaking, the obviously we are below average price, usual average price, so we're probably going long on the asset. And the USD, this is one of the ones that we have done the most trading on, and successfully, which is very good. So we'll see. We've been pretty long on the asset, so going against the trend, and it sort of was profitable so far. Now we're looking at this stage. If we carried on the trade, it would have been great for us because it would have been going up and making us quite a big pile of money. At this moment, it's sort of ranging around these levels, so we might be looking to short the asset, so follow the trend necessarily, because it is quite high at this stage, and so we might be looking to place a little alert. So it's already pushing around this level. There's another level here, so let's just put that in there, and there's another level around here, and so we'll see what happens. It might be that once it touches this level and wants to go up, it might be good moment to go long the asset. Here it's already moved up from what we had right here. So and again, there was a level confirmation here, so it pushed up, and we'll see how much of a push there is going to be, and we'll move accordingly. Okay, so then we have gold. Gold, we have already two alerts set it up here, We want to see what is going to happen when it touches this levels. More than this levels, we're probably gonna want to see this levels here. There we go. So around this level. So gonna see if we want to push forward there or else. But probably that's what's gonna happen at this stage. I don't think the gold will be moving down too soon. That's just the way that gold works, and so ideally we would be liking to see this going back down, and then we might be buying at the low. But that's what happens with gold. You want to buy the low. Okay, so USD CNH. There's nothing much to say here. The asset is too volatile to trade. I'm actually gonna take it off the chart. USD Mxn, this is obviously a short as usual, but it's been ranging around here. Now it's over priced, and what I was thinking is probably entering here, which it did at some point, but we didn't get in, which is a shame because look at what happened now. So we could be still shorting the asset, but if we do, we need to wait for the right entry point. And the entry point, well, we know what the exit point is, but the entry point is not clear. We need to define it. So probably once it gets around this area again, if it retraces back like a beer flag, and then we just jump in. Aud Usd, so here we probably don't have anything to say aside from the fact that actually this is a pretty good setup. It's pushed up from the general IDS, right? So we can just play it around here if we want to, sort of placing it that way. And it's pushed up, so it's either moving from this trend with a little retracement, or it could be a very good point for us to go short the asset. This all depends on also what's happening in Australia and so on and so forth. But if you look at the weekly, just to see the sort of average, we are pretty much there, and we went back from here, so we just pushed all the way down, and then it went all the way up with US monetary easing, quantitative easing, and so it might be the case that Australia is going to inflate the economy a bit more, and we can see that that's the general trend really. So unless things will change, it might be still a good time to go short on the asset. We just need to know when, so let's just put an alert for it, and then we'll assess again. There's one level around here. Well, we're pushing this level. Let's see if it goes that way, and if it doesn't, if it say it pushes below this level, then we'll be looking to short the asset most likely. But yeah, that's it. USD SEC daily is going long, and actually there's a good setup right here. It could be the start of going long the asset. Now we notoriously have been shorting the asset profitably. Well, not here, but here we did some profits. We might be doing that again, but we still need some values, some prices to look up to. So I'm gonna put a alert around here. If it goes towards that level, we're good, and I'm gonna get in and short the asset. As we can see that the asset is actually going long, so we're waiting for that reversal, to be honest. And there is definitely a huge level around here. There's one here, so if it pushes back, it's going to go lower, and around here. So see what's going to happen when it touches one of the two. We'll assess and then trade up. Here, well, we already assessed this. If we look at this, it's generally a shorting trend, well, a downtrend, and I just got in, huge spread. It's going up, and it's probably gonna want to retrace around these levels, or here or here. I have my stop loss around here, so I'm waiting for this to go down, and will make me a profit of about what is that? I'm not gonna ride it, so 26, because it's gonna go back up. But yeah, URHKD. This is another setup which tells us that ideally we will want to short the asset, and it could be a very good moment to do so, but we're waiting for a retracement on this trend, and ideally, if not, we'd be looking at a retracement around this trend if necessary, although I'm thinking if it doesn't go above this, it's going to be a good time to reverse our trade, and that's pretty much that. So USD Russian ruble, we have sort of like a head and shoulders here. In fact, it did well go down. As you can see, there's lots of volatility here, so it's really not easy to get an understanding of where this is trading. So actually, I'm just going to take it off from here, so I don't like these types of charts. So Cad Jpy, this is another interesting currency pair. Again, here we're at the same levels. We could be thinking of shorting very soon. When? Well, we can either check for retracement around these levels. After all, that's what happened so far. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to wait a little bit, maybe around here, around this level. So I'm not quite sure why, but I'm thinking that it needs to retrace around this level before I can think of shorting. But we'll have a look at it. Let's see what happens in the next few days. URUSD, again, we sort of have a very similar chart everywhere, and where we have, you know, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher low, higher high, sorry, which might be the beginning of a new of a reversal pattern. So it might be the case, but we'll see if that's not the case, because if it's not, well, we'll say, well, it's definitely a reversal pattern if it passes this point, but otherwise it will need to pass around this level here, and once that does, that's a first level, and then we have about this level here. That's the next level. That's the next line to cross. Okay, so USD Cad. USD Cad, we're probably just going long on the asset, although generally speaking this is a short, and with good reasons. And here, yeah, we sort of, in fact, we wanted to go long here, and in fact it went the other direction, probably went down and retraced around this level. So I don't know, maybe we're looking to retrace around this level, and then we might be going long. Not entirely sure. Otherwise we might be taking a short trade if it retraces around this level again. The general structure here is not really clear. It's just very cyclical at the moment around these levels, so we'll just stop from trading for now. And then Gbp Usd, again, same structure, same chart. I'll see if there is a change in the forex market soon, but so far I'm not trading, and I'm waiting for this level to be to move up and say touch about this level, possibly at least. So we're not trading anything until probably pass either this level or this level. That's on the daily chart. Although we would like to have this this ramping up as we want. We're probably just gonna touch a level. We're just going to reverse, but we'll see when it touches this level what's going to happen. So far I cannot get in now. Obviously it would be completely crazy. So that's pretty much that. So if we look at the COT data real quick before we close it, we can see what the movements in the capital are between dealers and speculators. You can see the positions. The dealers are longing the asset, so 5-year percentile of net position. So out of these positions, say speculators are highly on AUD, and so this is just actually this is not something that I'm interested in most with COT data. What I like to see is the COT data, which we actually should have on my FX book. So if we look on my FX book and we look at the COT data, which is here, market COT data, and we can see, say, the UR COT data on the Euro FX futures, and we can see commercials and large and small speculators. We're interested in large and small speculators, okay? Or commercials. What is commercials? Let's have a look. Commercials is going to be commercial long versus minus commercial short. And this is net large speculation and small speculation. So I'm thinking large speculation is huge hedge funds, right? Large and small hedge funds versus commercial banks. So we're going to look at what the hedge funds are doing, the smart money. Smart money is long on UR USD. Okay, by not a good percentage, but still they are long on the UR USD. So that means the UR is going to be appreciating, USD is going to be depreciating. We can look at the Canadian dollar in this case. Sort of around 0, but still long in USD Cad. Let's see, say for example Japanese yen, USD JPY. What's happening here? So we have actually that they are shorting the asset, most of the speculators, and this is good, because if we look at USD JPY again, which should be here, this is still short, meaning that yeah, we're probably looking at a retracement and then shorting the asset. So it's very important to see the COT data, and actually I would love to have an indicator telling me what's happening in the market in that sense. Here on MetaTrader, I'll discover that soon. But for now, that's it, and I'll see you next time.